Hi, I'm James O'Connor, magician and mentalist based in Shannon, County Clare, and today I'm going to be answering some questions. When did you first get into magic and how? So the first trick I ever learned was my mother had showed me this little trick where the label on a lighter had vanished. And I remember when I first seen it, it like really blew me away. It was like, how is that possible? And I remember she showed me how it was done, and I was actually more amazed at how simple the method was. And I remember practicing this move over and over and over, and I was kind of hooked from there. What makes magic special to you? For me, it's about how it makes people feel. It's more than tricks. A lot of people, they see magic, they see mentalism, they think it's about fooling people, it's about tricking people, it's about lying to people. But no, for me, it's about how it makes people feel. It makes people laugh, it makes people smile, it makes people interact with each other. And for a moment, I think it makes people believe anything can be possible. And growing up, for me, I think that's why I loved magic so much, because when I watched it, it made me believe that, as cliche as it sounds, that anything could be possible. And for me, I like to think that, you know, if what I do for even a moment takes people away from the stress in everyday life, or the stress of a job or relationship or finance, I think if for a moment it can just make people smile and take them away from anything in the real world just for a second, I think it's worth everything. Who was your biggest influence in magic growing up? So I remember when I was younger, I suffered with a lot of anxiety and I had OCD, and for me, magic was a bit of an escape. It was an escape from reality. And I remember watching a lot of David Blaine and even Chris Angel actually on YouTube, and I remember thinking for a moment, even though I knew a lot about magic, I hadn't seen all this stuff like cards and coins, and even the mentalism side of stuff like what Darren Brown was doing. And I remember for a lot of it, at only like 13, 14 years of age, I remember going, is what they're doing real? You know, and when I learned that, you know, they were just using sleight of hands, that's when I kind of pushed the magic sets aside, and I started getting decks of cards and coins and books on card magic. And another big inspiration for me was, I remember when I did start doing all this stuff with cards and coins, I used it as a way of interacting with students in school, because we'd done a lot of moving from Dublin to Limerick, and to try and kind of communicate with the students, I started doing tricks. And I remember this teacher had seen that it was like drawing little crowds and stuff, and he came to me one day with a book on card magic. And I remember for me that was like such a huge thing, because it was my first book on card magic. It was like a huge thing. And I remember him saying to me, you know, he said, every time you fool me with a trick out of this, I'll give you some money. And I can't remember what the amount was at the time. It sounded like a lot to me, but I think it was like a $5 or something. But I remember it really pushed me to sit down and really like master these tricks. And the teacher's name was Sean Whalon, and Mr. Whalon. And if he is watching this, I do want to thank him, because I remember he would organise during the big break, during lunch, he would organise me having a computer room to do little shows, and the students would come and watch. And it really helped me, you know, build my confidence and learn a lot about magic and learn a lot about, you know, how to perform for people. And it really gave me that drive to practice and try and be a better performer, and not just someone that just knows a few tricks. So I think that was the difference in me going from a hobbyist to, I think, professional today. What's your favourite magic trick or trick to perform? It's a tough question, because a lot of the stuff I do, I always perform a lot. Everything I perform is like my favourite trick. But I suppose one of my favourites it's a classic in magic called ACR. Magicians out there will know what that means. But it's a classic in magic, and there's so many different ways of doing it. And the reason I love it is because even though it's such a well-known method amongst magicians, every magician has their own different way of doing it, and there's so many ways of mixing it up, making it different. You can add so many phases on, you can have so many different endings, you can make it so unique to yourself. And for me, that would be my favorite trick because it is so versatile. Your logo is very distinctive. Can you tell me more about it? So my logo is actually the Primrose Triangle, and it's a really interesting object because I remember when I first seen it, I was only about 15, 16 years old, and essentially it's an optical illusion, but it's this two-dimensional image, but I've seen three-dimensional images of it. Now when you see it three-dimensional, it's actually this impossible shape, like it's not possible for it to be a real thing. And I had seen a video on YouTube of this location somewhere in the world. I don't know where it is. You can look it up if you find it. Let me know. There's a structure, and I remember seeing it, and it looked exactly like the Primrose Triangle in real life. I was going, whoa, how is this? Why does it look like how is this even working? And then the camera pans, and when it moved to the side, it actually broke apart. It was actually a completely different shape. It was only from that one point of view that you could see the Primrose Triangle. So for me, it had a lot of meaning in the sense of anything's possible from the right perspective. Your hand tattoos are cool. Can you tell me about them? So so the first tattoo here, I have the Primrose Triangle, and then the second one on my hand is actually a rabbit coming out of a top hat. Now the reason I got that is because when you say you're a magician to people, you always get this cliche of can you pull a rabbit out of a hat, which I cannot do. But because I got asked that question so many times, I literally got a rabbit coming out of a top hat tattooed onto my hand. How would you describe magic to someone who's never experienced modern magic? So modern magic, I think it's different because a lot of people think that there's this cliche in magic, like top hats, bunnies, doves, but the reality is magic it's a lot cooler now. It's a lot more elegant as well. People don't know what to expect. When they see a magician, they're going to see a lot of stuff with cards, coins, and even mentalism. Mentalism is having people think of things, words, places, names, and that information being revealed, predictions. There's all these fun, different little things that, again, like I said, people don't expect. When I show up to a wedding or to a corporate event, again, when people were expecting a magician, it's not what they expect. It's more fun, it's interactive, it's personal, it gets people engaged, it gets people laughing, it gets people having fun. And anytime there's people taking photos, I love looking at them back because people are always smiling, they're always laughing, they are always having fun. And yeah, for me, modern magic is less about that cliche of, look at me with the rabbit, look at me with the dove, look at me in the tailcoats. I think it's more about the audience. I think it's more about having fun and making it about them and not you. Final question, what's next for you? So what's next for me going forward is to get more bookings and keep doing more weddings, more corporates. And the big goal for me going forward is to do a stage show, and maybe something with more mentalism, or maybe a mix of mentalism and magic. A bit inspired by Darren Brown, who's a big influence for me when it comes to that stage presence. So a big goal for me going forward is definitely doing a big stage show. I've been James O'Connor. Thanks a million for listening to my questions and answers. And if you have any other questions about magic, drop them in the comments below.